Können wir uns bitte niedersetzen, wir gehen sehr bald live auf Sendung. Bitte langsam niedersetzen, wir gehen, glaube ich, in 5 Minuten live auf Sendung. So, ich bitte meine Gäste, den Peter Hanke gleich, wenn
Beachvolleyball und Wien, das gehört einfach zusammen. 2017 die Weltmeisterschaft, die Jahre dazwischen, legendäre Spiele auf der Wiener Donauinsel. Im Vorjahr 2021
the Danube Island 21, last year the European Championship, and 2022. What are we going to do next? That's what many imaginative people and the International Confederation have been asking themselves. And this brings us to a cordial welcome, dear audience, in the 3rd District in Vienna, in a big hotel at the Heumarkt. Thus, I've already given away a little bit. The Heumarkt this year again in August is going to be a very spectacular event venue. I'm going to give away a little bit about the event before I'm going to hand over to Hannes Jagerhofer. It's going to be a new format. It's going to be a European Championship, and this guarantees one thing for sure. It's a world premiere, a first here in Vienna. It will be top sports performance and an international match atmosphere. What more could we wish for? And who came up with the idea, already mentioned by me, a very creative mind I'd like to hand over immediately. Unfortunately, this event is overshadowed by the war in Ukraine. Therefore, unfortunately, our sports minister, Mr. Werner Kogler, had to tell us not to be able to participate, but he gave Hannes Jagerhofer, the organizer, a short statement, and now I'd like to give the floor to the event organizer, Hannes Jagerhofer.
Schönen guten Tag, herzlich willkommen.
Hello. Good morning and a cordial welcome here, the Hotel Intercontinental. I'm happy to see that our panelists have joined our invitation. As already mentioned in the beginning, it's not good times. We are organizing this event I watched the news before what's going on and what format are we going to play. I think that's the most important information for everyone coming from outside of Austria. I'd like to welcome Mr. Peter Hanke very cordially from the city of Vienna, the City Council for Finance, Economy, Labour, International Affairs and the Public Utilities. It's really great working with you. And welcome to my president, Mr. Alexander Boricic. Thank you very much for joining our event here today, and thanks for trusting in us that we might be able to organize this new format for you. Let's see, and thank you very much, Marco Hafmann, representing our title sponsor. Well, it's the 25th year, as I've counted, next year already, and we extended the contract for another 3 years. I'm really proud of that. 27 years cooperating with a partner. That definitely is something to be duly proud of. Looking back at the venue, here we decided to go away from the Danube Island due to the COVID situation last year, knowing that we have to comply with certain rules and regulations. Should there be any COVID infection, we have to know where the person was seated. And I have to say, I was not so positive. What was the stadium going to look like? It was rather an opera and not the stadium we were used to see at the Danube Island. And everything turned out differently than imagined. These were sensational games, a buzzing mood, a great atmosphere through the bridge from the VIP area into this building. It was so great, awesome to be in the middle of the city. Why? Because many of our VIPs, be it the federal president or representatives from economy, when you just cross the street from the first district, just dropping by at this great venue of the Heumarkt, and the atmosphere was splendid, really brilliant. And after the success of last year, with that change of venue and due to the COVID situation prevailing, we decided to stay at this venue another time, because the Danube Island is characterized by a situation of having many partners in charge of entertaining, putting up their stalls, their booths, and we had more than 60 activations back then on the Danube Island. It was a real family event, going out with the children, spending the day outdoor. This year we're going to set up a similar stadium. There might be more great stand seats here. We are really happy that last year cooperation with the authorities and the understanding of our guests was so huge that we didn't have a single COVID case. Anyone tested positive coming to our venue, and that was really calming and great. Let's watch our event trailer to get some feeling, even though it's really not a funny day, as we've pointed out in the beginning. But just let's look back and ahead. Well, impressive pictures. I was standing up on the roof, looking down onto the stadium. It's really awesome when you watch that. These were pictures going all around the world, positioning Vienna in a very special light, which we really enjoyed. And as already announced, this year the title of the event is the A1C EV Beach Volley Nations Cup Vienna. Alexander, you've been giving birth to a new concept, a new idea. We might compare it a little bit to tennis with the Davis Cup. This is going to be a national event atmosphere with national games, and we are going to explain the rules later on in more detail. How did you come up with the idea? And thank you for placing the trust in us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hannes. Good morning to everybody. On behalf of European Volleyball Confederation, first of all, I'd like to thank to the state authorities in Austria, to the city Vienna, to one of the biggest company, A1, which supported so many years beach volleyball, generally volleyball, but also I'm very happy that European Volleyball Confederation have the partner and the person like Hannes, because always we can come with some new ideas. In volleyball today, innovation is very important, cooperation, and on the end result. And not only in my memory, in memory of all volleyball people, last year was a very difficult year. Even if we had a Olympic year, many problems during the 21, but after many people was real happy to be in Vienna, to be part of the fantastic beach volleyball, European beach volleyball event, and the happiness that people can be again together in such a nice city like Vienna, one of the most important cities in Europe. It means that we don't like to go out of Vienna. We like to stay many years, but also we like always to bring something new. What Hannes said, Davis Cup. Maybe in the future, we just started first year, and we like to prepare that never was before this kind of competition, like fight with the national teams on this level. This is new project. I hope that everybody, especially media, can recognize that like new project, we need also your support, and thank you very much for this. But in the near future, I'm sure that together, all of us, we can bring happiness, first of all, to players, to many spectators, our fans, because online media is very important. And I hope that every year we must have much more people together with us. Thank you very much for all of you. An idea to come with some new project. We like to come again to cooperate, to start to share ideas, and to make that Vienna can stay many years capital beach volleyball city in Europe. Thank you very much.
Danke, Alexander.
Thank you very much, Alexander. It's really great fun cooperating with the CV, and we have many things planned to do. We submitted a proposal for the European Championship. The board meeting will take place soon, and I hope everything's going to turn out fine for us. Our Vice Chancellor unfortunately can't participate today. I'd like to read out his statement, because we are really happy to read his words. The EM last year, the European Championship last year, was one of the highlights of my time in office so far, and I'm sure that the new competition format with an international match atmosphere will not fail to make an impact. I wish the entire team every success in the preparation and implementation of this promising new event. Thank you very much, Mr. Vice Chancellor. Mr. Peter Hanke, you experienced both the Donauinsel, the Danube Island, and this venue here. Just a few impressions. What are your ideas, and what do you think about that new path we've been embarking on will be like? There was great interest, as we know, that the Corinthians would have liked to get beach volleyball back. A partner like Vienna, I think there is no topic at all for you. Just some words by you, please, ladies and gentlemen. Dear Hannes. Well, it's passion that drives us. I think that's what you noticed, and that's why we could also infect you and turn you into a semi-Viennese. And we've been doing a good job because Vienna stands for volleyball and for beach volleyball in particular. And it's great to see how in these last years Vienna has been changing when it comes to sports. When we go through our various districts, we have beach volleyball courts everywhere. It's turned into a trendy sport. Everyone wants to be on board. And we want to offer quality for the Vienna population, young and old, with a very sportive ambition. And ladies and gentlemen, in the City Council, it's a difficult day today, and I have to mention it briefly, at least, with all of the joy and the emotions overwhelming us. A day like this one today, when we know a war is raging near our borders, is really painful a moment. And I can assure you, and that's something important to me, that the Vienna government is doing each and everything that we can do to be a mediator, to provide support, to do each and everything to hopefully manage the crisis for the best of everyone involved. But let me come back to the event. These are major feelings you've been bringing about. And we didn't know in the beginning how everything was going to work out, but that beach volleyball transforms the venue of the Hallmarkt is awesome. It was such a great atmosphere prevailing last year. And I'm sharing pictures of August last year with everyone up to this very day because everything worked so well. And to Hannes and the entire team, a big thank you in times of the pandemic. And last year, it was not something that went without saying that that tournament could be organized. Establishing that partnership with Vienna, we, in the Corona phase, embarked on a safe path, as we believe, and we hope we are going to maintain that situation, being a bit stricter here with your system that you came up with on a high-quality level, provide everyone with safety and security feelings for all players, all sponsors, all stakeholders, a big event we could celebrate. So what can I do? Just remember that with all of my joy. Again, we are going to welcome a new format in beach volleyball, and I think this also speaks for our metropolis. We want to be a lifestyle city, and we do each and everything to achieve that goal. And therefore, your event suits us so nicely, and this is why we committed ourselves very clearly that not only this year are we going to be with you, but the next years again we want to embark on that path jointly. It's the planning safety we all need to be able to rely on, and this is why we are going to organize this press conference here today, passing on the information. In the back, there are sponsors who also need to be on the safe side with their planning activities in order to organize a safe event. And that's what's so great to see with sports, that it's with these emotions of different nations that feel connected to find what unites us. And at such a difficult day, sports can be the role model for other fields as well, where we have to manage to show performance and to find a common denominator. And you in beach volleyball are doing a perfect job when it comes to that. We as a city like to support your endeavors because there are international advertising values coming back, great turnover, sales, and added value for tourism, and all of that at the very heart of Vienna. Such a big brand, beach volleyball, connected with Vienna. I'm looking forward to the days in August, and I'm going to be there for sure. Well, that's like balm and honey at the same time. So thank you very much to all of the stakeholders. I would like to turn to Bernie, Marie-Christine, my team, doing a wonderful job. And I would also like to thank Thomas Meixner, the president of the Vienna Ice Skating Club. It's difficult to see here with the spotlights. The Director General of the Intercontinental, Brigitte Trattner, where are you? A big thank you to you as well. Dear Brigitte, our sushi boss from the Austrian Broadcasting Operations, the head of sports, Hans-Peter Trost, thank you very much. And the one who asked me in the beginning, do you really know what you're going to do? Jagerhofer organizing a world tournament. Let's meet at the Café Volleyball. Peter Kleinmann, the former president. And as a representative of the Federal Ministry, Nick, who at the first game in Carinthia with the Austrian Masters played himself. Nick, where are you? Thank you very much for joining us. Besides A1, the Swatch Group is an important partner of ours. I'm wearing the Swatch watch. You can use also for making your payments. We are just fabricating an access system, making sure that the VIPs can enter easily. Registration processes should be mastered much more quickly. Salman, thank you very much. A1. I do recall that in the beginning it was a different brand. In the beginning, these were the internet topics we've been playing around with. 24 years plus 3. I think not many marriages last that long. It always seems to be fresh for me. You are having great fun, you're providing every support possible, and what's most impressive for me to note, how we had to dive through the year without any events at all. Nevertheless, you organized an advertising campaign. Never ever has there been any such a campaign before like this one. Last year, you showed trust in us. As Alex also said, we didn't really know what was going to happen, and now the next period is going to be launched. What is it like from the A1 point of view? Why us? A cordial welcome on behalf of A1 as well. Well, Hannes, 25 years we're going to celebrate next year is a long time, a quarter of a century. Let that melt in our tongue. It needs a lot of trust and common values. There are many values we share. Trustworthy partners. That's so important in such a long-term relationship. That's what we are standing for, you are standing for, and what we particularly like is that innovative power. You several times mentioned how things underwent changes. 25 years ago in Klagenfurt it was so much smaller. We were sitting on beer crates back then, how things changed, the innovative power to bring everything to Vienna. We are backing you. That's so important for us. We think it's awesome how you are developing, and that's a value that's also important for us. We also have to keep developing ourselves further. The internet also has been undergoing massive changes when it comes to the data transmission rates and so on and so forth. It's important that we share the same values when we join in a partnership. The next 3 years are there to come. We are hoping for more innovations. We're looking forward to the partnership. It gives me the goosebumps too when I think back. And it's such a high quality level. That's a value we also stand up for. It's great to be present, to make sure there's a great atmosphere, and to make sure that behind the scenes we can do our utmost to have the highest quality with networking of the various venues, etc. And these are so many reasons why we appreciate that partnership so much. So another 25 years to go. It will then be half a century, but the next 3 years have already been safeguarded. Great, thank you. You give us the safety that we can do our planning. We rendered the signature today. The city provided signature 2 months ago already. When you are in such a situation with sponsors and the relevant stakeholders don't provide you with any safe statements, you are losing power, and that's what's so great cooperating with Vienna. You're always on the safe side, and you can celebrate your successes together. So what is the new format all about? We are going to change the stage setting a little bit. We prepared a video for you to explain what that competition is going to look like, what the national games are going to look like.
The top 7 European nations, according to the CEV country ranking, as well as the host country Austria, will feature at the inaugural A1 CEV Beach Volley Nations Cup 2022. If the host country is amongst the top 7 nations in the CEV ranking, the 8th best ranked nation will join the event as well. In a separate women's and men's competition, Europe's #1 beach nation will be crowned. In each gender, each nation will field 4 players. In order to be admitted to the competition, the qualified national federations must each nominate 4 of their 6 best-ranked players. These 4 players will play a country versus country doubleheader in a best-of-3 format. Match 1 will feature the 2 lower-seeded teams. In the second match, the top-ranked teams of each nation will meet. If there is a tie after these 2 matches, a decisive golden set will be played. The nation that reaches 15 points first, with a cap of 2 points, is declared the winner of the doubleheader. The participating nations, represented by their head of delegation, nominate 2 of their 4 players to compete in the golden set before the start of the deciding set. The participants will be divided into 2 pools of 4 nations each, playing a modified pool play format. The respective group winners advance directly to the semi-finals, while the bottom ranked in each pool will be eliminated. In the semi-finals, the group winners will meet the winners from the matches between the second and the third place teams from the pool stage, before the best beach nations in Europe are crowned in the final matches.
Ja, mein Podium schaut jetzt ein bisschen anders aus.
Well, now the stage is looking a little bit different.
Ihr, nämlich die
I welcome everyone cordially, those giving us the goosebumps soon. I received an email. I was really happy to receive Alexander Brauer, the vice champion, the vice world champion, after such a long time without spectators, and the Olympic Games, even a 4th place at the Euro Champs seems spectacular. Getting to play the maximum matches in front of the crowd in your stadium was amazing. This is why I play beach volleyball, and I felt as if the sport was given back its life. I realized a couple of years was difficult for you guys, but let's keep it this way. Goosebumps don't lie, Alexander. And when you hear that from one of the top players, you are really happy to read these lines. It makes us so happy. There are 2 new ladies on the stage, Dorina and Ronja. A bit difficult for me to pronounce the names. Ronja, well, you are taller than I am even. Well, what about preparations for the season? What are your expectations when it comes to our new format? How do you feel? The preparations are going great. We went to Tenerife already for a training day. We're going to go to Rio on Sunday. Everything's fine. We are doing fine. Preparations are running smoothly. It's top. And the new format, extremely interesting and exciting, because as a team Austria, we will play the games, and for the entire beach volleyball community and the fans and the spectators, that's so interesting that they can back their team Austria, not only individual athletes they are applauding for, but there's also the national aspect involved now. Cool, awesome. I'm looking forward to Cordoba too. And Dorina, what about you? What is your impression? How do you feel? What can we expect? I also feel great. After my shoulder surgery in November, things are turning better and better. We are in the preparations. We are very much looking forward to our training weeks, and I think the new format is going to be super. The team aspect, as Ronja said, is mega cool, and for the spectators, for sure, it's going to be very, very interesting with the 2 different matches and the golden set. I think this is for sure going to be another highlight people will really enjoy. Our boys aren't here today, they are in Fuerteventura, and we try to have a live broadcast connection set up with Fuerteventura now. I hope it's going to work out nicely. Seidel-Waller and Ermakora Pristouts, you should be in one separate room waiting for us so that we can also raise some questions, learning more about how you feel. Oh, it looks great. It did work out smoothly. How are you doing? All right, everything's great. The conditions are wonderful, 25 degrees, a slight wind, preparations are going smoothly, many training partners have arrived. Well, all top.
Wie schaut die Saison heuer aus? Wie
So
fühlt
what
sich
about
jetzt,
this year's season?
ready to race?
Are you ready to race?
Ja, also die Vorbereitungen bis jetzt laufen
Well, the
sehr gut.
preparations have been running smoothly. We have a new trainer team we are really happy with, Martin Walleniak from the Germans, and it was really running successfully, also with Mr.
Sonst
Winkler.
laufen die Vorbereitungen auch sehr
And
gut.
the preparations are going smoothly. The Dutch have all arrived with 4 teams, the German teams.
Nations Cup ein bisschen drauf einstimmen.
So this is the first feeling for the Nations Cup already.
Wie ist es für einen Spieler?
What about the situation for a player? You're no longer playing as a team, not representing yourself. Suddenly you are slipping into a position representing the entire nation. Has the feeling changed? What's your impression?
Ja, es ist schon ein bisschen was anderes, aber
Well,
ich
it's a
denke,
bit different,
das spielt
yes.
uns schon ziemlich in die... Wir kennen das Ganze ja schon ein bisschen
That's
vom
great.
Conti Cup,
We
wo wir letztes Jahr
already know it
teilgenommen
from
haben,
the
zu
Conti
der
Cup we
Olympic Quali.
participated
Und
last
ich
year
denke, dass wir
in
in
when it
Österreich
came to the
einfach,
qualifications
sehr
for the Olympic
ausgeglichene Teams
Games.
haben. Also
We
viele
have
Teams auf einem sehr guten
very
Niveau
well
und
balanced teams
ich
on
glaube,
a
dass
high
es sicher
level
nicht
in
leicht ist,
Austria.
gegen uns als
It's not
Nation zu
easy
spielen,
to play
dass
against
die
us as a
Leute eigentlich
nation.
eher ungern
And I
gegen uns
think
spielen würden,
people
weil wir so
won't
ein
like to play
ausgeglichenes
against
Team haben und
each
ich denke,
other
dass uns das
here
Format auf jeden
because
Fall
we
liegen
have such a
Wie kann man sich so einen
well
Trainingstag bei euch
balanced team.
vorstellen?
What
Da
is a
steht's
training
auf,
day like
jetzt mal
for
kurz
you?
einmal so das
When
einmal
will you get up in the
kurz uns einmal
morning? What will you
schildern, wie es
do?
bei
Can
euch
you
zugeht?
just give us a short impression?
Also meistens haben wir zweimal am Tag Balltraining.
Normally we
aufgestanden
have ball
wird,
training twice a
sagen wir
day.
circa
We
um
get
8
up
Uhr.
at 8, more or
Manchmal
less.
kriegen wir dann schon ein bisschen Schimpf vom Trainer, wenn wir erst um 9 Uhr
Sometimes the
Frühstück
trainer
sitzen,
is
aber,
getting mad with us
die
when he
Trainingszeiten
sees
variieren
us
ein
at
bisschen.
9 at breakfast only.
Aber die
Different
Bedingungen da sind
training
super. Also wir
times, but the
sind da in so einem
conditions really
All-Inclusive
are
Club. Das heißt, wir müssen uns wirklich um nichts
splendid.
kümmern,
We are in an
können uns total auf
all-inclusive
den Sport
club. We don't have to take
fokussieren
care of anything. We can
trainieren,
focus
essen
on
gehen,
sports
zu jeder
exclusively. We can
und
train. We
haben
can
auch
have
das Gym da.
food.
Also
We
es
have
ist
our
wirklich
gym
optimal.
available for us.
Cool, das freut
Couldn't
uns
be
zu hören.
better.
Eure Kollegen Seidel
Great to
Waller
hear
müssen
that.
irgendwo um die Kurven
Well,
sein. Jetzt
the
schauen wir mal, wo wir zu
colleagues
denen rüberschauen können. Also toi, toi, toi,
Weiler
tut's euch
should
nicht weh,
also
bleibt gesund,
be
das ist das Wichtigste.
around the corner.
Und,
Stay
dann sehen wir uns
healthy.
bald in Österreich.
And
Die
we are
Herrschaften
going to
sind noch
see each
im
other
Bett, sieht man
soon
dort.
again in
Entschuldigung, wir hätten die
Austria.
Pressekonferenz
Well,
ein
the
bisschen später
two
ansetzen
gentlemen
sollen, ich
here, we
hab's
should have
gewusst.
rescheduled the
Pyjamahosen
press
noch an. Wie
conference.
geht's
You're
euch?
still wearing your pajamas, as it seems.
Ja,
How are you
eigentlich sehr
doing?
gut. Das
Great.
Wetter ist gut.
The weather is
Die Insel ist
gorgeous.
schön. Also
The island is
fehlt uns eigentlich
beautiful.
Schöner Urlaub.
Well, we couldn't wish for any more. A great
Ja,
holiday,
fast.
so to speak,
Also,
almost.
trainieren
Yes,
wir
it feels
zwar-
like
zweimal am Tag,
a
wie
holiday.
Martin
We
und
have
Mose
to
gesagt haben.
train, as you have
8
already
stehen wir
heard,
auf.
twice a day.
Robin
We are getting
heute
up
sogar
at
früher.
8, this today
Bam.
even earlier.
Ich werde jetzt danach gehen.
Vom Gefühl her verletzungsfrei, es zwickt nirgendwo,
So no
es ist schon
injuries,
gut und auch
no
im Vergleich zu den anderen
problems.
Jahren zum Zeitpunkt,
You
wo man jetzt
feel
sagen wir,
well compared
wir sind jetzt
to
quasi,
other
Ende
years.
Februar,
It's the end of
seid ihr auf dem
February
Niveau,
now.
wo
Are
ihr
you
wisst,
on
das
the
braucht ihr,
level
damit
where
ihr
you
dann
know
richtig
this
in
is
die
the right
Saison
level to
reinstarten
start
könnt,
from
Mexiko,
for
oder was auch immer
the
euer erster Stopp
season
sein wird?
in Mexico, or what your first stop is ever going
Ja,
to
wir
be?
fühlen uns fit. Wir haben jetzt
We feel
Competition
fit.
heute mit Holland. Mal
There's a
schauen, wie das
competition
läuft.
with the
Das wird
Netherlands
Gegner, wo man sagt, okay,
today.
der ist
Then
hoch.
we can
Schauen wir, wie
see
wir dort spielen werden. Aber grundsätzlich
how
sind wir
fit we really are.
Wir spielen gut. Trainer
We
sagt,
play very well. The trainers are satisfied with us. We are satisfied with everything. When it comes to our sports hall and the new trainer team, we are looking
Cool.
forward
Dann
to
wünschen
the
wir noch
events.
viel Spaß.
Cool
Wann
to
kommt
hear
ihr wieder
that. When are you going to return?
Am 5. März kommen wir wieder zurück.
On March the
Und dann geht's
5th,
nach
we'll be
Mexiko,
back.
oder wie
And
geht's
then
bei
you're
euch
going to
weiter?
go to Mexico? What will the future
Genau, Mexiko,
be for
2
you?
Turniere in
Mexico, 2 tournaments
Und
in
ja, die
Mexico.
Vorfreude nach
Yes.
dem neuen Format und
And we are full of
steigt
anticipation
überhaupt
when it comes to these events
das
and
wird richtig
the
cool.
great
Also,
event in Vienna. This
geil,
is
dass wir
going to be
so
awesome. Wonderful.
Was sagst du dazu, dass man vielleicht am Samstag, wenn der
On Saturday,
Alexander das
when
richtig präsentiert,
Alexander
quasi als
presents it
Halbösterreicher bei seinem
as a
Port, dass wir die Europameisterschaft wieder kriegen können
semi-Austrian,
über
we
nächstes Jahr,
may
also
get
nächstes
the
Jahr,
European Championships again for next year.
Ja,
What do you think about
Europameister im
that?
eigenen Land wäre
European
natürlich noch schöner als
champions in our own country, that would be even
Jetzt
better than
spielst du
anywhere
einmal-
abroad.
Spielst du einmal im Ausland.
Now, you're going to play the away games
Zur Erklärung, heuer ist die
in
Europameisterschaft
Munich.
in München, weil da werden alle
The European
Europameisterschaften
Championship this year is
unterschiedlichste
going to be
Sportarten
organized in
zusammengefasst, was
Munich
sicher sehr
because
spannendes Thema
several
ist und fürs
different
Fernsehen sehr gut
sports
ist,
are
weil die können
being
ja
combined there.
dann
That's
da,
great also for TV
einen
broadcasting
Pult
because
an
it's a
High-End,
whole
Sportevents,
bulk of high-end
quasi
sports
an einem Wochenende
events
oder an ein paar Tage
on a
übertragen.
weekend
Ja,
or
alles
broadcasted
Gute.
over a couple of
nichts
days.
verletzen,
All the
passt auf
best,
auf euch,
every
habt ihr
success. don't get injured, and a cool training session, and then we're going to see each other again here at the Heimarkt, cheering to each other. Stay healthy. Our president, who is in Kazakhstan, so I asked myself to find out where Kazakhstan actually is. We prepared a video for you because he can't be here for professional reasons in person, unfortunately. Good morning to Vienna. Good morning, Mr. President Boričić. I'm really sorry that I can't join you in Vienna today. I'm in Asia. It was not possible to come to Vienna for the event. A historical day, the kickoff for the Nations Cup for beach volleyball, a new format, the CEV, the beach volleyball think tank that last year very intensely focused on various models and future event formats to be developed. You really did a perfect job. It was a great honor for me to be on board and to also make a little contribution. The Nations Cup is one of the results of these negotiations, a nations against nations clash with a European title. Awesome. We are happy that Vienna has managed to commit themselves organizing the first event. We are positive this is going to be a great show, fantastic, and we believe in a long-time future. There was a 4-year rhythm already where we had a similar format for the Olympic qualifications on the continental level, and that is the foundation, the basis, a format the federations are familiar with. Well, Vienna, the Heimarkt, we saw that last year, a super location. This again is going to be an amazing event. And when it comes to the sportive events, I think it will really be very, very interesting. All the best. Have a nice press conference, and we're going to see each other again at the court. Thank you very much, Gernot. Thanks for your nice words. Schützenhofer plays Nutschnik, our great team. How many years have you been playing together already? Good question. The first season was 2010 that we played together, then an interruption of 2 seasons. It should be the 10th. Meanwhile, with short separations, everyone pursuing their own path, you met again, and you said it was better joining in the efforts again. It is as it is. Well, I think now you can only get us as a duo, and we're very much looking forward to the next years. How about your feelings? In the last years, you were in a top form. Compared to the other years, where are you standing right now? The last years were very successful. We only missed the Olympic qualification by 1 rank, making a big step forwards. Then we had a long break in autumn to attain new targets, to plan what we want to reach out for. We had a great trainer, and I think we will notice that at the court as well. And with Martin, we've been working intensely, being very satisfied. On Sunday, we're going to go to Rio, then to Mexico, to the first 2 tournaments. Let's wait and see what the results are going to be. We did prepare ourselves very intensely, taking a big step forwards. Kati, turning to you. What is your partner like? What are the strengths? What would you say? Well, you're smiling. What are her strengths when it comes to the sportive features and as a partner at the court? Well, she's a really great defense player, knowing exactly what the opponent is going to do. She's super quick, ambitious, and she has a strong will. I really appreciate these qualities in her. What is the number of the season you're starting in now? Well, I'm not that old, but a couple of them, yes. And we are happy that we are going to play at the Heimarkt again. Last year we really felt well here, and we're very much looking forward to playing here again. Well, you experienced both venues, the Danube Island and the Heimarkt. What's the difference for the player? Last year was extraordinary because after a long time we were allowed to play with an audience again, so therefore it was all the more more awesome for us. We already said that last year. You're closer to the games, we have the fans close to us. The Danube Island was larger with more spectators for sure, but last year was really cool and awesome. We are very much looking forward to playing here again. It was a unique atmosphere with the digital opportunities. We cease to support you in such a city, such a livable city here. We wish you all the best. We need you. Please do represent us in the best way possible. And when it comes to Cordoba, think of Hansi Krankel, and we are going to do it. We also thought about what we can do with the facility as such. We're going to have it until the middle of September, and we thought this year we're going to embark on a new pathway. We know the center court, and we thought about what can we do. And I was in the Lincoln Avenue in Miami, and there were also many different stands there, and I then watched an artist there, watching him painting, and it really was impressive. We said this time, after the event, for some 2 weeks, including the 4th of September, we will organize the Pop-Up Art Studios Vienna Festival. It will be a competition between digital arts that I didn't fully grasp so far, what's really happening all in that sector, 90 million digital values of individual pieces of art here versus the analogous art. It would be our dream to have 50 artists with one topic to focus on, and we can see how different artists approach the topic differently. Arts is something really fascinating. The acting people are fascinating. At the center court, we want to establish a market court atmosphere. Manfred Bockelmann, Udo's brother, told me, Hannes, the creativity in artists is not produced with birds beeping with animals in the woods, but it's something unique. There will be 50 studios here in the beach volleyball event. Certainly we have to restage the venue a little bit. Vienna is a city of culture, and it will be the controversy of analogous and digital arts that we want to stage creative performance, wonderful pieces of art. We are broadcasting live, and I can't repeat often enough how much I thank the Austrian Broadcasting Corporation. Hans-Peter, you are one, always making a big commitment for us. I know no other one supporting us like this, the #1 national broadcaster. Thank you very much that it is possible to organize the press conference here today in spite of the problems prevailing in Ukraine. Now we are open for questions. If anyone in the audience wants to raise a question, please raise your hand to make sure we can bring you a microphone. Any question to our players, to the president, to Peter Hanke, A1, Swatch, whoever you want to turn to. Michael Fieler from Sports Business AT. 2 questions to Mr. Jagerhofer. If I've understood you correctly, for the next 3 years you've committed yourselves it's going to be happening in Vienna. What about the venue? Will it be organized here the next 3 years here again as well, or is it not possible? You also mentioned A1. You have many partners of trust. Have you already fully marketed the tournament, or is there still room for further partners? There's always room for further partners. We are always thankful when someone approaches us. We are going to maintain all partners. We've been cooperating in the last few years. The tournament is going to remain in Vienna, no doubt about that. When it comes to the format, Alexander, it's in your hands. We are getting the European Championship. Please do your best for us, keeping fingers crossed. And the situation, whether we are going to stay here or go to the Danube Island, depends on COVID. My big target is to couple a big lifestyle fair with our event, and I can do that only when we are on the safe side, planning-wise, when our partners in October will say, I'm going to set up a booth with you, a stall with you. I hope we are going to manage the COVID topic fine, so next year then we can possibly be on the Danube Island again. Any further questions? If that's not the case, if you really don't want to ask any further questions, I would like to convey my heartfelt thanks to everyone. Thank you for having joined our invitation. It's not something that goes without saying that so many people have joined our event. I'd like to hand over to Hans again, and maybe we can now have some interviews with our athletes to get some more background information for our audience. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Hannes Jagerhofer. I think most has already been explained to you, just a few sportive questions remaining. Thank you very much for being available, for answering our questions in times like these. The Austrian top team, Schützenhöfer, Blesenjutschnik. Let's start with Katharina Schützenhöfer. A lot of new information, the tournament now with the Nations Cup. What's your opinion on it? Well, where should I start? With the Nations Cup or the Tour? Well, a really interesting format. We are familiar with the Country Cup, but normally we always appear as a team for Austria, but not as an entire big nation. I think for the spectators it's going to be very interesting to support a nation, something totally new for us, a new atmosphere, very exciting. Playing as a team for Austria, this is going to be a new situation for us. We are always open for new things, and we are very much looking forward to playing for Austria. Well, is there a major difference playing for a nation or for yourself, Lena? I think it's not going to make such a big difference because it will be 2 against 2, one team competing against the other one, and then the teams competing. I think the team setup is a little bit different. We are a larger team now, but I think we are going to do a great job. Well, what about support at home as the local favorites standing at the center court? What about the pressure? Well, we've been managing that well already. Last year we might have started a bit nervous, but it's a great push for high and top performance. I think it's not going to make us nervous, but we will do our best, Lena. Well, with all events at home here, we've given our best, and I'm going to repeat that this year again. It's not an easy year. There is the Nations European Championship and the European Championship in Munich just 1 week later, and in June there will be the World Championship in Rome. It's not going to be an easy year. This will be quite a challenge for you, I guess. What about that tight schedule? The European Championship, I think, is 2 weeks after the Nations Cup. We have to qualify ourselves for that, and the Nation Cup will be a very good preparation for rendering great opponents there as well, and the World Championship already is in June. It's not such a tight schedule. We're going to play 2 tournaments in Mexico. We have to qualify for the World Championship first, and that's what we are focusing on. We want to always give our best. These are 3 highlights of this year's season. When preparing yourselves in training, you're focusing on these highlights. You have to prepare the highlight for June, then for the beginning of August, then for the middle of August. Is it any change in the planning of your training rhythm and schedule? The general situation prevailing is you have to be very sensitive. Changes happen very frequently. We focus on being in top form for these highlights. So we've some tournaments for qualifying ourselves as a kind of preparation in order to render the best performance. And the tournament level also has been changed. That's the new format, as we have learned, the so-called Beach Pro Tour. There will be 9 elite tournaments, 4 challengers and 7 future future tournaments. Is that good a situation? Is it bad for you? What about your point of view as an athlete? The current state is a different one, more challenges, fewer elite tournaments. I think since autumn it's a third version we've been confronted with for the tournaments with new stops, new times. We have to remain flexible. I think in the long run this is not the right way forward, because by and large there will be fewer teams participating. It's only the top 16 in the elite tournaments, in the smaller qualification, 24 for the challengers with a qualification. And by and large the teams on the reserved list not participating in the tournament are more than those participating in the tournament. I think this destroys the sportive character. Young teams don't have any opportunity whatsoever to participate. I see it the same way. We talked about that in great detail. It's difficult for young teams because they have no chance to qualify for these events. We do have a chance to be on board when it comes to the Challenger and the elite tournaments. We are happy about this situation, but there are so many teams with new pairings, for instance. They don't have any chance whatsoever to qualify for the event. And that's sad, because we do a professional job when it comes to our training. We prepare ourselves, giving our utmost, and then it's really tough not to be allowed, not to be qualified for the event. More tournaments, to have a chance to play an elite or a challenger tournament, to get points to qualify for the other category. More tournaments or other schedules. And the prize money, because with the future tournaments, for instance, you get a prize money amounting to $700 when you win the tournament. So you don't even cover the travel costs this way. This is a catastrophe, because you can't finance your life anymore doing our sports. Thank you very much. I hope people will hear you wish. The president of the International Confederation is with us. I hope he's been listening attentively, and I would like to give the closing words to the organizer, who's been shouldering a major risk, doing a great job. A format going back to the creative, imaginative mind of Hannes Jagerhofer. What was your share together with the International Confederation? The Davis Cup worked out greatly. It's a copy of tennis a little bit when it's Cordoba. I wanted to experience a second time in beach volleyball at least. Well, the Confederation said they wanted to do something like that with some fine-tuning, and it might really turn into something exciting. That we are hosting the premiere is great for us, super. What are your expectations for the Nations Cup here in Vienna? Are you going to exceed the atmosphere even that prevailed last year? The European Championship is a European Championship. That's something special, to be honest. But all other formats, with the matches series, etc., we were having something we can compete with, or maybe even top it a little bit. It's the Austrians playing in Austria, and you immediately identify yourself a little more strongly, maybe. We are looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome. So thank you very much on that note. Just some final words on the Beach Pro Tour. I interviewed the top team, Schützenhofer and Blesiucznik. They are not so sure about it. What about your wishes? The Pro Tour, I think, has not been thought about in every detail, limiting it to 16 teams, the qualifications, but the prerequisites for the Pro Tour with the joint venture with the CVC, also part of Formula One. Well, it does not correspond to what our wishes are. We want to have many teams, many nations here, and it tends to thin out things because people won't be able to afford any trainers anymore. This is some danger lurking here for our sport. With the CEV, we found an awesome partner fighting for the sport, living for the sport. We know what the difficulties, the issues are. Many people turned the offer down. You can't find any organizer being able to afford it. You shouldn't have a title sponsor. 80% of the advertising means go to the International Confederation. They will gather their experience and maybe then make a few adaptations. We are happy to have many athletes here at the end of the day. Thank you very much and all the best, every success, making sure the fans will enjoy the sports again. Thank you very much. That was Hannes Jagerhofer with the final words of our event. Just a few closing words. We also talked about the European Championship going to Munich in August. You can also watch them live on ORF Sport Plus, not only beach volleyball, but also cycling, rowing, triathlon, many live content features here that we can offer you on that special channel. And the next live sports you'll see in a few hours only, 5:55 p.m. If you are available pre-Euro qualifications in baseball, Cyprus against Austria. So please don't miss it if you find the time and watch the sports news at 8 p.m. So much for today. I wish you a great day and have fun with the program.